Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. I feel like it's been a minute since I sat down and did a talking video in this format, but I know for me this is typically the time of year where I start to fall off of my wellness practices. I don't feel as motivated, and I know that the new year is right around the corner for a fresh start. This is the time of year to really lock in and set the tone for the new year so you're not just waiting for a resolution. So today I wanted to give you some practical tips that I've used that have really helped me along my wellness journey, so you can kind of form a little challenge before the end of the year and try out some new things to see what works for you, so that by the time the new year comes along, you'll already be rolling, you'll already have that momentum behind you, and you'll just feel so much better instead of feeling like you're just starting from square one. But before we get into this, I want to preface, because I know when I first started my wellness journey, there was so much information out there, and I would try to just put myself into this cookie cutter way of doing things that I saw was working for someone else. And I want you to take everything I say and try it out, see what works best for you, give it a couple weeks, and start to really reflect on how it's making you feel, because what that does is it really starts to build that relationship that you have with yourself, figure out what's working best for you specifically, and it's just gonna make things so much easier for you, because becoming that best version of yourself truly is all about trial and reflection and staying super open-minded all along the process, so you can really develop that self-love and start getting in these routines that you absolutely love instead of feeling like you're forced into something. And that's how you're gonna stay consistent and really build this out long term. So let's jump right in with the first tip that I have, which is to really set boundaries with your devices. So what I want you to try to do from now until the end of the year is not check your phone the first 30 minutes after waking up and 30 minutes before bed. Pretty much all through college and up until a couple years ago, the first thing I would do when I wake up is just check my phone on autopilot, go through social media, and just lay in bed for like 30 minutes, not realizing that this was severely impacting my stress levels and just completely leaking out my energy before the day even started, which is obviously going to leave my mental health in not the best place. But I didn't realize at the time how severely this was impacting me. But when we first wake up and before we go to bed, that's when our minds are most vulnerable. So once I started setting this clear boundary with myself, I had it as a non-negotiable to bring that energy back into myself, and it built out this space where I could focus on what I needed, reflect on the whole day and all the decisions I made, maybe what I can do for the next day, and really set an intention before just jumping into the day, which is such an important way to recharge your battery. So give that a try from now until the end of the year, and I guarantee you, even if you just do that one tip, you're gonna feel so much more connected to yourself and more motivated to show up for these daily decisions that are gonna make you feel your best. Now, the next tip I have is each weekend from now till the end of the year, we're gonna start planning out our meals in advance. I cannot stress enough how important this was for me, not only when I first started my wellness journey, but up until this day. Every once in a while, I'll have a busy weekend and fall off and forget to plan my meals, and I notice a huge impact on my productivity levels, because then my focus becomes on every single meal. What am I gonna eat next? What am I gonna eat next? And I end up spending hours in the kitchen. I know when I get super busy, my first instinct is to just go with what's most convenient or easiest to make, which usually ends up being something that's just a microwaved meal or ordering in. So our goal here is to make the meals that we have planned out and prepped the most convenient option for us. I also know that when I first started my wellness journey, I way underestimated the time it required to cook, to clean, to prep vegetables, and to do everything that goes into making a new recipe. So by building out a time block on Sunday where you can go to the grocery store, have everything planned out and ready to go, and then do all the prepping and cooking and using all the pans at once, and then just having 15 minutes at the end to clean everything, so that we're not even spending more than 20 minutes in the kitchen per day. So what I do is every Sunday, I'll first plan out my meals, and I walked you guys through exactly how I plan them in my last What I Eat in a Day video. I'll plan them out, then go grocery shopping. Then I'll do all the prepping I need for the entire week, whether there's a veggie I'm making one night that I need to just chop up and put in a Tupperware, and then I'll pick 2 to 3 carbs that I can use throughout the week. So for example, let's say I'm making a ground beef meal prep for lunches. I'll make extra of that rice, and then one night that week I'll make like a salmon fried rice or something where I already have my carb ready to go, and I can just add it to the pan with whatever else I'm making, so that you don't buy a million ingredients for the week and just end up using a little piece of each one and wasting a bunch of food. This has been so helpful for me, and it really all comes down to planning. Okay, this next tip has been huge for me. I first learned about this maybe like 4 years ago. I read the book Atomic Habits, and I had heard about the concept of habit stacking, but I never really implemented it. But I'd say within the past year, I really started to follow it, and it has been such a game changer. I know for me, if I'm starting a new project or a wellness journey, for example, my tendency is to stack a million different things on my plate, and then I just end up feeling super overwhelmed and stressed out. So I love to find ways that I can simplify and combine different tasks. For example, if I know I'm gonna be doing my makeup or getting ready like I do most mornings, and let's say I'm working on self-love or confidence, I'll put on some affirmations in the background that I can listen to so that I'm really setting the tone for the day and getting my energy right in the morning, or listening to a motivational podcast while I clean or do my meal prepping on Sundays. Not only does this boost your mental health, but it's gonna make you feel so much more productive while doing those basic errands and tasks around the house. So I highly recommend this one, especially if you already have a super busy schedule, so that you're not adding another 30 minutes onto your morning routine, but you're looking at the routine you already have in place and ways you can implement more productive things. The next tip I have is perfect for this time of year, especially if you've been traveling a lot this summer or just on the go a lot and you finally have some time to spend back at home, and it's to get your environment set up perfectly for your success. Our surroundings have a huge impact on how we feel, how productive we are, and even how we treat ourselves. For the longest time, I did not realize how much my space was impacting my energy levels and my mindset. What I've found is that when I really set up a place where I feel peaceful, structured, and organized, it is so much easier for me to show up for these new habits I'm trying, but also my just daily wellness journey in general, because my environment feels so supportive and just ready to go. I want to give you some tangible takeaways because I know this one's easier said than done, and obviously it depends on if you're a more naturally organized and clean person, but I am definitely not. So I like to keep a maintenance calendar for when I've done certain types of cleaning. This can be anything from cleaning your makeup brushes, or like a seasonal reset where you look at all the things that are clogging up your space. Maybe it's all these clothes that you've had for years and years that maybe aren't aligned with this next level version of yourself. So I like to put some music on or a podcast and sort out my clothes, get my drawers organized, and then donate all the clothes that I don't wear anymore. There's something about it that just makes me feel so much lighter and happier. Another tip I have around food that makes the wellness journey so much more exciting and motivating is to try one new healthy recipe a week. If you've been following me, you know I absolutely love this tip, but one of the most common misconceptions when you're starting to follow a more healthy diet or lifestyle is that you have to deprive yourself and only eat like plain chicken and rice for lunches and restrict yourself of all these foods that you used to love. But in my experience, this couldn't be farther from the truth, and that path just led me to really burning out and ending up right back where I started. And this is one of the main reasons I preach about wellness tips, because for the longest time, I thought I had to be miserable and wasn't coming at it from a place of self-love. And I found that one recipe a week is perfect to not get super overwhelmed with trying a million things at once, but also it keeps things so exciting and gives you something to look forward to each week. So what I like to do is usually find like a healthier version of some food that I used to absolutely love, but maybe doesn't make me feel the best or energized after I eat it. I have tons of recipes up on my Instagram and TikTok, but you can also just do a quick TikTok or Google search that says like healthier version of, and then put in your favorite food, and there'll be tons of different options for you to try. And a lot of times I can't even tell that it's not the original food because there's so many good substitutes and healthier alternatives out there nowadays. Okay, this next one is kind of an obvious one, but I want to kind of put a twist on it. So we're gonna start prioritizing our daily movement from now till the end of the year and really get some momentum behind our daily workouts. But I want you to start seeing it as medicine for your mental health and really do it from a place of self-love instead of trying to force yourself to go to the gym. For so long, I was focused on working out only to look a certain way or feel more toned or be in a better shape than I was. But I truly believe everything changes once you start seeing the impact that daily workouts and staying consistent with a movement you love has on your mental health. Maybe you already know what types of workouts you love, you just want to be more consistent with them, or maybe you want to use this time to really start trying out new forms of movement. But the one thing I will say is to not overwhelm yourself and try to force yourself to go to 7 workouts a week if you've never worked out in your life. We're building long-term consistency here, which absolutely requires rest and recovery days and a mix of different types of movements to keep your mind on board and not just burn out. Also, I want you to shift your mindset from thinking that you have to do the hardest possible workout to see results. For me, I went from going to Orange Theory 5 days a week, feeling so exhausted and bloated, to doing foam roller Pilates 2 to 3 times a week, a workout class with some weights a couple days of the week, and lots of walking and yoga. And when I tell you I feel so much better, more energized, and just motivated to go to my workouts like it's just what I do, I don't have to force myself at all. A huge part of my self-love, mental health, and wellness journey has been seeing my daily decisions from the lens of promises to the future version of myself. If I'm trying to make decisions, I now naturally have this wired in my brain to look at them from the perspective of how I'm gonna feel tomorrow, next week, or next month. And this really allows me to zoom out and focus on that delayed gratification. So a way I love to do this that you can start implementing before the new year is to set out your workout set and sneakers the night before, and also have that workout planned out in advance so that when you wake up, you instantly already feel supported and you're way less likely to make excuses or just skip your movement in general. This is also a great way to stay consistent and really build up that self-confidence because you keep those promises that you're making to yourself, which is ultimately what's gonna make you see a ton of progress before the end of the year. And my last tip is to actually keep track of the daily decisions that you're making, even if they seem small. Our brains are wired to seek validation and reward, so tracking our daily decisions not only helps to stay consistent, but also to really get that subconscious mind on board. So for me, I like to write everything down, which really helps to take me out of that autopilot mode, focus on getting in touch with my mood, my energy levels, and how certain decisions that I'm making or new workouts or foods that I'm trying are really making me feel specifically, so I can build out a plan, a routine, and support myself instead of just going through what worked for someone else. If you're just starting out with this and you don't really know where to start, that's exactly why I created the Daily Alignment Journal, which has guided prompts not only for meal and movement tracking, it also has a place for mental health prompts so you can set that intention for the day. And then the right side is going to help you so much from a productivity standpoint to stay organized and start time blocking so you can figure out when you're going to get everything done in the day. This is also super helpful if you're in school or you work remotely or even for yourself. And then I love that there's an end of day reflection so that each day you're making progress and you can really see what's working and what's not. You can definitely also just use blank paper or your notes app. I just find that having it all written down in one place is a lot more rewarding instead of it just getting lost somewhere in your phone and you never really looking back on it. Now that you've made it to the end of this video, I really hope all these tips were helpful for you, and I'm so excited for you to actually start implementing them and see how amazing you feel before the new year instead of just waiting for that day one. So from here, I would recommend writing a list of all the tips that sounded exciting to you and anything else that you want to try to work on. I feel like this time frame that we have right now is the perfect way to really set yourself up and give yourself a boost into the new year, and come up with a plan of how you're actually going to get it done through the small daily decisions. Let me know in the comments if you're following along, and we can all hold each other accountable. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so grateful you're here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!